Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to part 21 of the 30 grandchildren badge attempt, or the head of the family badge. I'll finally get that badge name right. In this episode, Alicia and Dennis are heading off on their vacation to give them an opportunity to decide if they really want to spend their lives together having lots of babies, which is required of them by this challenge. They could choose to not stay together, but let's hope they do. They're getting on really well at home so far in amongst the mayhem. We've just taken them on vacation just to have the two of them together, and they've arrived at their vacation destination, Isla Paradiso. And they've decided on arrival that they really would like to just go diving, scuba diving. They've never tried that before, so they had to do some snorkeling for a while first to get their scuba diving skill up to level 2 to be able to go to Rocky Reef, which is the only dive spot that they are qualified to dive in at the moment. And here they come, using water taxi. I'll really have to get them to use their houseboat to move around in future, I think. I usually put my Sims into houses when I'm in Isla Paradiso, but this is only a short vacation, so they can be in a houseboat. And down they go. Of course, this is a very short dive. They're just getting the feel of the place, and there goes Alicia. She didn't like it down there, so she went straight back to the surface. And I had no opportunity to stop her. She just went up. And Dennis has got a wish to explore a dive cave, so that's what he is about to do. Great idea for a totally inexperienced diver to decide to go into a dive cave all by himself. There could be absolutely anything in there, but he doesn't seem to be worried about it. I guess that's what happens when you're inexperienced. You think you can do anything. The less you know, the more you think you know. You know how it is. As soon as you start learning about things, you start realizing that there is just so much you don't know. And I think Dennis is going to get a lesson out of this one. That's a little jellyfish. And Dennis is still in the dive cave. I hope he's enjoying it. And while she's on the surface, Alicia's getting to meet a few of the locals, and she's learning about surface sharks. It's not necessarily safer on the surface. There are sharks up there as well. Oh look, there you go. Dennis has ended up on a nearby sandbar or island. He obviously got such a fright, he just had to suddenly escape from that terrifying dive cave. Eventually, Alicia realized that Dennis was standing alone on that little island, and he was watching her. So she swam across towards him, and they had a little date. They were flirting. The sun was going down. It was quite late in the day when they finally... Dennis took a big risk and gave her a spur-of-the-moment kiss, and she kissed him back. Wow, this is getting off to a good start, and this is only day 1, and there was 1,000 lifetime happiness points in that kiss. Progress is being made rather rapidly. Now he's massaging her. They only had little blue plum bobs over their heads before. Now it's red hearts. Oh, that was good, she thinks. It was a great massage. She better held on to this guy. So they have a little flirt, and then it's time for watching the stars together. I think they could end up as a real couple together, and eventually we might be having a wedding next episode, because so far it's all going very well. They're enjoying their little time together watching the stars. At least they can see the stars from here. If they were back on the houseboat, they probably would be looking up through the wall and trying to watch the stars that way. Finally, they've got some time together, just the two of them, whispering secrets to each other and giggling about them, until the paparazzi arrive. They tried to ignore the paparazzi for a little bit, but it was putting a bit of a dampener on their fun, so they thought they might go back to the houseboat, but not before they had a romantic photo together. And then it's back into the water taxi and back to their houseboat. Alicia was happy with leftovers, but Dennis wanted to cook a brand new meal. Fortunately, they're both top cooks, because they've been learning to cook and reading all of the recipes that they possibly could while they've been waiting for their vacation. Alicia's actually managed to get to level 10 in the cooking skill, and she's read all of the recipes, including ambrosia. So since she's now finished her meal, she's decided to dance while she waits for Dennis to finish cooking his and then eating it. It's cooked enough to feed 8 Sims, so there'll be plenty of leftovers, so he just takes one plateful and he'll put the rest back in the fridge, so that next time they come home hungry, they'll just be able to get leftovers. Alicia's going to enjoy dancing on her own for a while. They're both excellent dancers, and I know that Dennis is at level 10 with dancing skill, and I assume Alicia probably is as well. We often saw them dancing together in the background when other things were happening back at home in Cake Island. Good on you, Alicia. Oh, they've got a dishwasher. That's lucky. Now she's going to tell him what she thinks of him. Still eating while she wants to dance. Hello, he's finished. They've cleaned up. And now it's flirting time again. Holding of hands. That's nice. And a kiss. And it's next morning. And they're moving the houseboat to the dive spot because they'd really like to have a bit of a dive. Alicia took the wheel. And here she is. She's the first one to jump in. I hope those surface sharks aren't around today. Oh no, there they are. They're still there. Where's Dennis? Is he coming? Alicia's gone down. I bet she's back up again before he gets down there to be down there with her. Oh, what's that? She's going to catch an octopus. I think that's Alicia. There's a pole up in the middle there. It's just in front of the grass. Oh, and there's Triton King. He doesn't have his tail, but I've given him his scales. That's one thing with Island Paradise. There is a bit of a bug with the mermaid scales. They turn up with bare legs, and you need to do a few little tricks with them, and you can get their scales right. But he has to go up to the surface and then dive again before he'll get his tail. I've actually made a video in my channel with a tutorials playlist on how to fix the mermaid scales. The scales I've given him are the same colours as the original Triton King scales. Male mermaids default to a pale blue colour. It's a pretty colour, but you'll end up with all of the mermaids with the same coloured scales. I think it's more fun to have the scales that they were originally designed to have. So that, I believe, is Dennis, who's chatting with Triton King. It's worthwhile getting to know the mermaids. They can actually show you the way to a hidden island. And if you want to turn yourself into a mermaid, you can get them to give you some mermaidic help. If you eat it, you can turn into a mermaid. I've never tried that one, but I've been taken to the hidden island quite a few times by a mermaid. It's usually Salty Seaworth that I get a hold of. He's easily manipulated, that Salty Seaworth, because he's evil and he wants to see the ghost of his wealthy spouse. So provided your sim is very rich and prepared to flirt with him, he could just get encouraged to take her to the island in the hope that she will like him even better. Dennis is about to catch that octopus. Dennis is having a good time. Not only is he getting some diving experience, but he's catching lots of underwater sea life. There's a little jellyfish coming into the picture there now in the centre of the screen almost, and a goldfish. Triton King's still hanging around. Oh look, there's another octopus and an anemone just to its right. Just the anemone just in front of the starfish. So it's, what's he going to get? Looks like he's going to get the octopus. And then will he get the anemone? Looks like he's going to. I was thinking it'd be fun for him to take all those fish home and get them mounted. So Alicia got tired of diving early. She doesn't seem to enjoy that scuba diving experience. And she's gone back to the houseboat and she's been reading. Eventually Dennis made his way back to her. He's climbing up to the top there now. Dennis decided he'd try to find something else to do that he could do with Alicia. Triton King had given him an idea when he told him about a fun park that's on another island nearby. So Dennis has decided he will move the houseboat close to that island so they could go and have a different sort of fun, something that hopefully Alicia might enjoy, something that they could do together as a couple and get used to each other's company, because it'd be no good for them to think they could spend their entire lives together if they didn't enjoy doing anything that the other enjoyed doing. So here's an overhead shot of some of the islands in Isla Paradiso, and there's the houseboat moving towards its home port. You see the clouds? They're covering up the hidden islands. And when you uncover those islands, the clouds will go away and you'll own the island, or you'll own the lot that's on the hidden island. Not all islands are completely covered by the lot that you get to own. Some are. So the houseboat has arrived at its home port. which just happens to be very close to the house that the Isla Paradiso bunch were living in when they were living in Isla Paradiso. So it has docked itself and they've jumped off and headed for the Bluewaters Fun Park, where they are now, swimming. It's the same lot as Robbie and Candace went to in Cornucopia, but with this one I have removed all of the columns that were holding up the roller coaster, because once you've built your roller coaster you don't need the columns anymore, it'll stay there. So I just decided they were taking up too much room and it was very difficult to get the Sims to do anything that we could actually see them doing, so I removed all of the columns. Now Alicia is going to do some surfing. You can only one sim can surf at a time. So here she goes. Usually you put this in the ocean, but I put it in a swimming pool so it could go in the fun park. When Dennis noticed what she was doing, he decided to come across and watch, because he wanted to have a go too. Unfortunately, there was only room enough for one of them at a time, so Alicia had a game first. Sometimes a seal or a shark or something will pop up and knock them off the surfboard, but didn't get to see that happen this time. Alicia's confidence grew and she started trying to do a few little tricks on her surfboard. She moved up to the front of it and stood there, and she didn't fall off. Wow. So then she went back again and lost her balance and ended up in the drink. But she quickly got back on the board and she kept on going. And she noticed that Dennis was there watching her and waiting for his turn. So she decided she'd jump off and let Dennis have a go. Dennis quickly grabbed his opportunity to do a bit of surfing while Alicia headed off to who knows where. She didn't hang around to watch Dennis do a bit of surfing. There he goes. And there goes Alicia. I'm sure she'll find something else to do that's lots of fun. It looks like she's thinking of going onto the water slide, but she might have changed her mind and gone up into the cafe or something. Hello, he's off. He didn't want to have a long surf after all. He wants to catch up with Alicia and see what she's doing. This is the ground floor. That's just fencing I've got around the outside instead of walls. And because of that, this is all considered to be outdoors. So when it's a hot outside, the Sims get hot inside as well. So they bought some pizza at the bar and then they sat down at two different tables to eat it. You will have seen this room in operation when Robbie and Candace were having a dance together on their vacation. Of course, Robbie and Candace weren't good at dancing, so they kept on standing on each other's toes all of the time. But this pair are expert dancers, so there's no standing on toes going to happen here. They just do a nice slow dance together for a while in their swimwear. I don't usually use that bikini that she's wearing, but I've got it in my game, so I thought since she's on vacation she could wear it. She'll probably not need it again. And the paparazzi have turned up. So after their dance, we've got to try to do something else. It's almost time for the sun to come up. They've had a wonderful time at this fun park. So they're going to get on the roller coaster and we will see them enjoying the roller coaster in Isla Paradiso as the sun comes up. We'll just stay back here and watch them so we can get a nice view of the entire roller coaster from here. They go all the way down and then they come all the way up again and loop the loops. And as you watch them, you'll notice The sun is gradually lightening the sky. Oh, they jumped over that. I think it might be a seal. Sometimes it's a seal, sometimes it's a shark. Up again. It's almost daylight. There it is, it's daylight now. That's it, they've done their roller coaster ride and nobody got sick. That's very well done. I think they'd be pretty much worn out by now, although Alicia was just sitting and reading while Dennis was diving. He's found an arcade machine, a cowplant arcade machine, and Dennis has decided to take the time to play. That's exciting. I think Alicia has decided to go and do a bit of shopping in that little shop that's above the entryway. She's got lots of things to buy to put around their new home when they set it up. And I think they've just about decided that they will get married. He's really excited about that game. We must go to the Love Inspector. Let's see what Love Inspector tells them. Uncontrollable. Such raw energy. You remind Love Inspector of a beautiful, uninhibited night that Love Inspector shared with Claw Machine. Now that was worth a big kiss. And another one, another big kiss. It's just about time to go back to the houseboat, and since their romance is going so well, Alicia's decided yes, she will go and buy some of those things she was looking at in that little shop upstairs, and she left Dennis to dance while she went shopping, and she filled up her inventory with a whole great variety of things that she liked. And next they went back to the houseboat, and this time they will go diving together and she will stay down there with him. Dennis is in the water and Alicia came running out and joined him. So now she's heading for the dive spot, and those surface sharks are still there as well. It looks to me as though it's getting rather late in the afternoon and it could be getting to be dark shortly. Let's hope they're safe down there with their diving. So they're in their diving gear. Alicia's gone down, followed by Dennis. There's some townies turning up in their boats as well. It's still the same dive lot as they were in before because they're not very good at scuba diving yet, and this is the only dive lot in the world that they are able to actually get down into. There's no treasure chests in this dive lot, so they won't find any treasure. But they can catch fish and get experience and build up their diving skill. You never know, they might come back here one day when they've had all the children that they need to have, just to remember when they were young and carefree and able to do whatever they wanted to do. And they've got hearts above their heads. That tall kelp is quite thick at this end of the dive lot. But you can find all sorts of things. As bottles can be in the sand, messages in the bottles, and all sorts of fish to catch. Some of them are polyps or sea anemones, or even shells. There's all sorts of shells and fish skeletons. There's a lot of things that they can find when they're scuba diving. That's a red herring there, but they're ignoring it. There are starfish that they can pick up, but there's none that I can see at the moment. There's starfish that are there for decor and starfish that they can pick up, and I can only see the decoration ones so far. They're fairly rare because they're valuable, I think. We won't let him go back into that dive cave. Oh look, there's a seahorse. Now that would look good on their wall at home, wouldn't it? I wonder if someone's going to try to catch it. They're hard to find as well. I think it's because this is their third dive. And the same vacation that they've actually managed to come across a seahorse. You don't usually see them straight away. But you could just get lucky. I don't think there's any strict rule about it. I think I saw a little sea urchin sort of thing, tiny little black spiky ball floating along near the bottom. Yes, look, there it is, near those fish. Little tiny black dot that was swimming around. And there's a purple anemone in the middle of that grass just near the bottom of the screen. I think someone's about to catch it. Is that a hermit crab that he's about to catch just there? If you've got a collection helper, it can help you find things, but you can't choose what you want to look for while you're underwater. You need to decide what you want them to get assistance with before they actually dive, which can be a bit annoying at times, because if you've got to go back up to the surface to change the selection on the collection helper, then they've got to wait 2 hours to decompress before they can dive again. And as a bit of a hint, the messages in a bottle and the scuba diving gnome both show up when you are using the collection helper to search for seashells. But it doesn't really matter in this instance because neither of this pair have got a collection helper, so they're out of luck if they want help. That's a polyp just there on the ground. They're right in the middle of the screen at the moment, that little lumpy thing that looks like a bit like a rock. That's a polyp. They can catch that, take it home, get it mounted. I think they got a polyp in one of the earlier dives as well. See that kelp there that looks a bit paley yellow and with the thicker leaves? That's the harvestable kelp that your Sims can harvest while they're scuba diving, and mermaids eat it as well. So there's a red herring heading towards him. Oh, and there's an angelfish. I think the angelfish is the bait for the death fish. We don't have any death fish in the ocean though. I think that red herring may not be catchable, otherwise somebody would have caught it by now. There is a spawner for non-catchable ocean fish. I don't usually use that spawner when I'm making my own dive lots, and I still manage to get uncatchable fish in them occasionally. They look like you can catch them, but when you try to click on them to catch them, nothing happens. They're completely inanimate. There we go, we got a whole lot of surface sharks, and we've got Alicia and Dennis swimming in amongst them. Oh, that was a townie. Thought it must have been Dennis come to the surface. So this is a bit scary. She's going to snorkel. Well, at least while she's snorkeling, she's building her scuba diving skill, and she can find things she can catch. Oh, he must have gone into the cave. Silly Dennis. I do have a mod that stops that problem with them landing on the beach. Oh, look, that's a kraken. I hope they don't get eaten. Oh, I don't usually see that thing. It's terrifying. Doesn't seem to have scared them though, and it didn't eat them. I think it does get them sometimes, or it makes the houseboat sink or something. I've never seen it happen. I don't usually see the kraken. That was a bit of a scary moment. I think they better get it back onto that houseboat before it comes back. And now they're back celebrating that they survived their big dive, and they're having a dance together. I think they like this sort of dancing better than slow dancing. This is the sort of dancing they do all the time at home. They've got one more place for them to go before it's time to return home. It's night time, and they're still dancing. The surface sharks are there, and they've decided to watch the stars together. We started this episode with them watching the stars together, and we're going to end it with them watching the stars together. Although this isn't yet the end. We've still got some excitement to happen, but it won't happen until morning. So they'd better go inside and get some sleep. Next morning, they decide to move the houseboat because Dennis remembered something else that Triton King had told him, that not only is there a fun park, there is another place where they can go. It's a sort of a cafe. He didn't really get the full picture when he was talking to Triton King, but he thought it might be something that Alicia would enjoy. See, he wanted to spend some more special moments with the special lady in his life before they return to Cake Island and begin the rest of their lives together. So it's that sort of a reddish, greyish, brownish collection of buildings there on that island. That's where they're headed. It is a venue that I got from the store, but I've changed it a bit. So it's not exactly as it came from the store, but it's fairly close. It's the Fresco Street Market. That's where the Humble Harvest stands came from. They're the ones that you see a lot in my videos. I put them in the Stone's Throw greenhouse, but this is where I got them. I bought this venue, and that's where they come from. And now this barista bar that came from the University Life expansion pack, and they can buy drinks and food to eat. It's a bit like a cafe, but I don't know what was going on here. Things didn't work out properly. Usually you just walk up there and buy what you want. If you put that barista bar on a community lot, well then you get an attendant will come and you can buy things from them. And I also added the pizza oven, which came with the World Monte Vista. And Dennis has decided to cook dinner for them. It's calzone, I think. He's got a serving for 8 there. They only want one each, so there'll be plenty left over for any townies that might be hungry. See, all of these things that you're looking at, except for the things that I'm telling you came from other places, came with the Fresco Street Market or with the base game. Well, the barista bar came with University Life. The pizza oven came with the World Monte Vista, and you'll see a ping pong table shortly, and that came with University Life as well. And they're going to have a little game of juice pong. Usually I get my Sims to play ping pong, but I thought I'd get this pair to play juice pong. Might be fun to get them juiced just before they go back to their home in Cake Island. Oh, a romantic photo together. They're doing a lot of them. They like to be romantic. Just a little kiss and a flash, and let's look into the camera and see what the photo looks like. Another kiss. And another kiss. I think they like each other. Is that the paparazzi turning up? Yep. But they're not going to get frightened off this time. This is the end of their vacation. But don't go yet, there's still more to happen. And you will want to see it. Oh, dip kiss. Wow. And there's still more to happen. He's getting in the mood. He's getting his brave. Oh, he's giving her flowers. This is all very romantic. Aha, this is what I was waiting for. He's going to propose marriage, and she's so excited. She's jumping up and down. Oh yes, she says. And he puts the sparkling diamond on her finger, and she's just beside herself with joy. Huge hugs. Yes, it's all going to go well. There's going to be a wedding when they go home, because they're not going to do the elopement thing that Robbie and Candace did. They came home already married. This pair are just going to get engaged because we want to see the big wedding in the big indoor-outdoor wedding venue with all of the family invited, including the imaginary friends who have been made real. I don't use this Fresco Market venue as much as I use the Stone's Throw greenhouse, but I do use it a fair bit because you can do all sorts of things with it. I mean, I just put the venue down. Most of the venues I've bought over the years, I just never use them. I only use the bits that came with them, but the Fresco Market is my second favourite one. So we're back in the houseboat, and all of this happy dancing is totally autonomous, and they have been doing it ever since Dennis arrived at the household. They just simply love to dance together, dancing and celebrating the engagement. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. If you don't want to miss the next episode, well then, you'd better subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So this pair are about to go home, and that's it. So thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now, and happy simming. They definitely like the flirting and the hugging and the kissing bits, don't they? Bye-bye.